Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us today. We are going to talk about something very special. It's something that lives inside each one of us. It is a part of you that holds so much power. It holds the keys to understanding why you feel the way you do sometimes. It holds the keys to healing old hurts. And it holds the keys to unlocking your truest, most joyful self. We are talking about your inner child. Now, when we say inner child, we don't mean there is a tiny kid literally living inside your body. That would be a bit strange, wouldn't it? No, the inner child is a way to think about a part of your mind. It is a psychological idea. It means that all the things you went through as a child, all those experiences, all those feelings, they are still with you. They are stored inside you. This part of you, the part that remembers and holds on to your childhood, that is what we call your inner child. It is the you that you once were, still living on in your mind and heart. Understanding this part of yourself is so important. It can change your life in big ways. It can help you feel better, have better relationships, and live a happier life. Many skilled people have found this to be true. So let's explore this together. What does your inner child really represent? What does it hold on to? Well, it holds on to a lot. Think back to when you were little. You had so many feelings. You felt happy, sad, scared, angry, excited, and curious. All those strong feelings from your childhood are part of your inner child. If you felt very loved and safe, your inner child remembers that. If you felt lonely or afraid, your inner child remembers that too. Your inner child also holds your memories. Not just the big things you remember, like birthday parties or starting school. It also holds on to the small moments, the everyday feelings, the things that maybe you don't even remember with your grown-up mind. But that little part of you, your inner child, it remembers. It remembers what it felt like to be praised. It remembers what it felt like to be ignored. It remembers what it felt like to be understood or misunderstood. And very importantly, your inner child holds on to the beliefs you formed when you were young. As children, we try to make sense of the world. We try to understand why things happen. And based on our experiences, we start to believe certain things about ourselves, about other people, and about the world. Maybe you learned to believe that you had to be perfect to be loved. Or maybe you learned to believe that it was not safe to show your true feelings. Or perhaps you learned that you were strong and capable. These beliefs, formed so long ago, are often still carried by your inner child. Finally, your inner child holds on to your unmet needs from childhood. Every child has needs. We need to feel safe. We need to feel loved. We need to feel seen and heard. We need to feel like we belong. We need to be allowed to play and be curious. Sometimes, as children, these needs don't always get met perfectly. Maybe our parents were very busy. Maybe they didn't know how to show love in the way we needed. Maybe school was a hard place for us. When these important needs were not met enough, your inner child remembers that lack. It remembers that feeling of needing something more, something different. These unmet needs can stay with us, even as grown-ups, and they can show up in our lives in surprising ways. So, your inner child is like a little treasure chest inside you, holding all these precious and important parts of your past. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that was my past. I'm a grown-up now. Why does it matter? Well, it matters a lot. The past is not just in the past. It lives on in the present through your inner child. The feelings, memories, beliefs, and unmet needs from your childhood can show up and affect your adult life in many, many ways. You might not even realize it's happening. Let's look at some clear examples. Imagine a child who often felt left out or worried that their parents might leave them. This fear of being abandoned can be carried by their inner child into their adult life. As a grown-up, this person might find themselves feeling very clingy in their relationships. They might get very anxious if their partner is late or if they don't text back right away. They might always need reassurance that they are loved and won't be left. This strong need for closeness, this fear of being alone, that could be their inner child, still feeling that old fear of abandonment for long ago. Here's another example. Think about a child who really wanted praise and attention from their parents, but maybe they didn't get very much. Or maybe they only got praise when they did something perfectly. As a grown-up, the inner child part of them might still be trying to get that praise. This person might become a perfectionist. They might work too hard, always trying to do everything perfectly. They might be very hard on themselves if they make a mistake. They might always be looking for approval from others, hoping to finally feel good enough. That drive for perfection, that need for praise, that could be their inner child still trying to meet that unmet need from childhood. Or what about someone whose parents were very critical? A child who was often told they weren't good enough or that they were doing things wrong? Their inner child might carry that voice of criticism inside them. As an adult, this person might have a very loud inner critic. They might always be putting themselves down, telling themselves they are not smart enough or not capable enough. Even if they are very successful, they might still feel like a failure inside. That harsh inner voice, that could be the echo of the criticism their inner child experienced. Sometimes, if a child didn't feel safe to express their anger, maybe they were told, "Don't be angry," or were punished for showing it. Their inner child might learn to push anger down. As an adult, this person might have trouble saying no. They might avoid conflict at all costs. They might let others walk all over them because their inner child is still scared of showing anger or standing up for itself. These are just a few examples. There are so many ways our inner child can show up in our daily lives. It can affect our relationships, our work, how we feel about ourselves, and the choices we make. It's like we are grown-ups on the outside, but sometimes that little child part of us is running the show from the inside, based on old feelings and old beliefs. Understanding this is the first step to making changes. Many skilled people have found that connecting with these parts of themselves brings great understanding. So how do you know when your inner child is activated? How can you recognize when these past feelings and beliefs are influencing you in the present moment? There are some common triggers and signs to look out for. A trigger is something that happens now in your adult life that pokes at an old wound from your childhood. When that old wound gets poked, your inner child can get activated, and you might react in a big way. One of the biggest signs that your inner child is activated is when you have a very intense emotional reaction that seems much bigger than the situation calls for. For example, maybe your friend cancels plans with you at the last minute. A grown-up response might be to feel a little disappointed, but then you make new plans. But if your inner child gets activated, maybe an inner child that felt rejected or unimportant as a kid, you might feel a huge wave of sadness, or anger, or even panic. You might think, they don't really like me. No one ever wants to spend time with me. That super strong feeling, that reaction that feels way out of proportion to a friend just changing plans, that's often a sign that an old wound from your inner child has been touched. Your reaction is not just about today. It's about all the times in the past you felt that way. Another sign is when you find yourself falling into old familiar patterns of behavior, especially in relationships or under stress. Maybe you always end up picking partners who are not good for you, even though you want a healthy relationship. Or maybe when you get stressed, you always turn to food for comfort, or you shut down and don't talk to anyone. These repeated patterns, the ones that you don't like but can't seem to stop, they often have roots in your childhood experiences. Your inner child learned these ways of coping a long time ago, and it keeps doing them because it doesn't know any other way. Feeling very small, helpless, or overwhelmed in a situation where, as an adult, you should feel capable can also be a sign. It's like suddenly you're not a grown-up anymore. You're that little kid again, feeling scared or powerless. This can happen in arguments or when you have to do something challenging. Sometimes, physical sensations can be a clue. Maybe you get a knot in your stomach, or your heart starts racing, or you feel like you can't breathe when certain things happen. These can be your body remembering old feelings of fear or stress from when you were little. Your inner child is trying to tell you something through your body. Common triggers for the inner child can be things like feeling criticized, feeling rejected or abandoned, feeling ignored or unseen, feeling like you're not in control, or feeling like you're not safe. These situations in your adult life can feel very similar to difficult experiences your inner child went through, and so they wake up those old feelings and reactions. For an example, if your boss gives you some feedback on your work and you suddenly feel a deep sense of shame and want to hide, it might be that your inner child, who is very sensitive to criticism, has been triggered. Recognizing when your inner child is activated is not about judging yourself. It's about becoming aware. It's like shining a light on these patterns so you can understand them better. This awareness is the first step towards healing and making different choices. Many people find that just noticing these moments with curiosity can start to make a big difference. So, why should we bother trying to connect with this inner child part of ourselves? What are the benefits? There's so many good reasons. Connecting with your inner child is not about dwelling on the past or blaming anyone. It's about healing and becoming more whole and happy in your present life. One of the biggest benefits is healing old wounds. We all have hurts from our childhood, some big, some small. These wounds, if they are not healed, can keep affecting us as adults. They can make us feel sad or angry or scared, even when we don't know why. When you connect with your inner child, you can start to understand those old hurts. You can give that child part of you the comfort, safety, and love it might not have received enough of back then. This is sometimes called reparenting your inner child. It means being the kind, understanding grown-up to that child part of yourself that you needed when you were little. This healing can bring so much peace. Another benefit is understanding your triggers. We just talked about how certain situations can trigger strong emotional reactions because they touch on old wounds. When you connect with your inner child, you start to see where these triggers come from. You understand why you react so strongly to certain things. For example, you might realize that you get very upset when you feel ignored because your inner child often felt unseen. Once you understand your triggers, they have less power over you. You can learn to respond to situations in a calmer, more thoughtful way instead of just reacting from that old, hurt place. Connecting with your inner child also helps you increase self-compassion. When you understand the experiences that shaped you, when you see how hard things might have been for that little child part of you, it's easier to be kind to yourself. You stop being so hard on yourself for your flaws or your struggles. You realize that you are doing the best you can, and that the parts in you that you don't like often developed as ways to cope with difficult childhood experiences. This self-compassion is so healing. It's like giving yourself a big, warm hug. And here's a really wonderful benefit. Connecting with your inner child can help you access more joy, creativity, and playfulness in your life. Children are naturally joyful, curious, creative, and playful. But sometimes, as we grow up, we lose touch with those parts of ourselves. Your inner child still holds all that wonderful energy. When you connect with it, you can bring more of that lightness and fun back into your adult life. You might find yourself wanting to play more, or be more creative, or just feel more wonder and excitement about the world. It's like rediscovering a part of yourself that has been waiting to come out and play. So, connecting with your inner child can lead to deep healing, better understanding of yourself, more kindness towards yourself, and more joy in your life. It is a journey that can help you feel more whole, more authentic, and more truly yourself. It's a path that many skilled people have walked and found to be incredibly rewarding. It helps you unlock your true self. If all of this sounds interesting to you, if you feel like you want to start connecting with your inner child, you might be wondering, where do I begin? What is the first step? The good news is that the first step is very simple. It does not require any special tools or skills. It just requires a little bit of gentle awareness and curiosity. The very first step is to start noticing when you have strong emotional reactions. Remember we talked about those times when your feelings seem much bigger than the situation? Or when you fall into old, familiar patterns? Start to pay attention to those moments. Don't judge yourself. Don't try to stop the feeling. Just notice it. When you have one of those strong reactions, try to get a little curious about it. Ask yourself, that was a really big feeling. I wonder where that came from. Or, I notice I always do this when I feel stressed. I wonder why. Just ask the question gently, like you are a kind detective trying to understand something new. You can also try to notice if you feel like a little kid in those moments. Do you suddenly feel small or helpless or scared like you did when you were young? Just noticing that shift can be very insightful. Another thing you can do is to think about what might have triggered your reaction. What happened just before you started feeling that way? Was it something someone said? Was it a particular situation? Again, just be curious. There are no right or wrong answers here. You are just gathering information about yourself. This first step is all about gentle awareness. It's about starting to listen to yourself in a new way. It's about paying attention to those inner child parts of you when they get activated. You are not trying to fix anything yet. You are not trying to change anything. You are just noticing. You are just becoming aware. This gentle awareness is the foundation for everything else. It's like opening a door to a room you haven't been in for a while. You're just peeking in, getting to know what's there. Be patient with yourself. This is a new way of relating to yourself, and it might take time. Some days you might notice a lot. Other days, not so much. That's okay. The important thing is to be kind and gentle with yourself as you begin this journey of discovery. This simple act of noticing with curiosity is a powerful first step towards healing and connecting with your inner child. Many people find this to be a very loving way to start. So we've talked about what the inner child is. We've talked about how it can show up in our adult lives. We've talked about why it is so good to connect with this part of ourselves. And we've talked about the first simple step you can take, which is gentle awareness. This journey of connecting with your inner child is truly a path to wholeness. It is a way to heal the past so that it no longer controls your present. It is a way to understand yourself more deeply. It is a way to become more compassionate and loving towards yourself. And it is a way to unlock more of your joy, your creativity, and your true, authentic self. It is about bringing all the parts of you together, the child parts and the grown-up parts, so you can live a more integrated and fulfilling life. This work can be so rewarding. It can lead to better relationships because when you understand your own patterns, you can relate to others in healthier ways. It can lead to more peace inside because you are no longer fighting against those old wounds or trying to push down those difficult feelings. And it can lead to a greater sense of aliveness as you reconnect with the playful, joyful spirit of your inner child. Many skilled people have found this journey to be one of the most important things they have ever done for themselves. We really hope this introduction to the inner child has been helpful and insightful for you. We hope it has sparked your curiosity to learn more. This is such an important part of understanding ourselves and creating the lives we truly want. If you found this video valuable, we would be so grateful if you would give it a like. And please share your thoughts in the comments below. What was one thing that resonated with you about the inner child? Or perhaps, what is one way you have noticed your own inner child showing up in your life? We would love to hear from you. Your comments help us all learn and grow together. And of course, if you want to continue learning with us, if you want more insights and tools for personal growth and healing, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future videos. We are passionate about sharing this information with you. If you feel like you are facing personal problems related to your inner child or other areas of your life, and you would like to connect with us more directly, you can find links to our Instagram and TikTok in the description below. We are here to support you. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Remember, this journey of meeting and healing your inner child is a beautiful act of self-love. Take care.